Hey there, Tom here from Fibonacci-Traders.com here with a weekly market recap. Before we dig in the charts, quick reminder, chart request weekend is here. Welcome to post any stock, crypto, ETF, and I will include it on Sunday's evening chart request weekend video. Join our Discord, Fibonacci Traders. Discord link will be in the description below. You have chart request weekend channel and you can post any name and I will include it in tomorrow's video. So without any further ado, please do the like, subscribe, share with friends. Let's dig in the charts. We'll go over the weekly charts. Each and every candle represents 1 week, and what a week we had. Very bearish week, but this trend line is holding. This trend line held December lows, and if we look left, it held also here and further back February 16, and we can go over more and more over here and over here. So this channel, these two trend lines are very important. Don't forget CPI numbers coming out Tuesday. Below expectations, the market will see a meltdown, fallout. October lows will be retested and maybe even lower towards this trend line over here. This trend line held COVID lows and it held March 09 lows. So we need CPI numbers to be above market expectations, otherwise prepare for a free fall, in my opinion, of course. QQQ, as we see, trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. We have this trend line over here, support, support, and now support once again. We have this trend line over here, it was resistance, broke to the upside, a new trend line, same angle. Breaking below this one, and we will going to retest January lows and October lows. It all depends on Tuesday's CPI numbers. Monday, I expect not much of a move, maybe an inside day, maybe a doji. IWM holding inside this short-term uptrend channel. September lows, January lows, and now Friday touched and bounced a little bit. Once again, we need to wait for the CPI numbers. Below expectations, you can expect 162 to the downside and maybe even 145 on the IWM. Dow Jones, if you follow me on Twitter and you saw previous videos in the last few weeks or so, we said 343 area is building a double top scenario on the weekly and on the monthly, and 330 needs to hold, and it didn't. So now 320 also barely holding, and this double top scenario CPI numbers can push all the way towards 307 and even 286. So if you're planning any trades on swing trading, I would wait until CPI numbers Tuesday. Bitcoin, another very good week for Bitcoin. Also, we have multi-top scenario over here, broke to the downside the neckline, and now this trend line together with this 18K area is the next support. Below it, we could see back to the 15K area. Ethereum, not surprising. This area of the 1700, 1750, very strong resistance. Bulls gave up. Now 1370 needs to hold, otherwise this trend line together with the 1300 is next. Failing to hold, bad CPI numbers, and we will see a fallout also on Ethereum. 1K and maybe even below it. Don't ask why, just follow price, adjust yourself for the environment that we are trading in the current time. Follow price, use levels and trend lines to manage risk. XLF, not surprising, very bearish week after the SVB fallout. 33 now. It is the 618 retracement. We have swing low, swing high, 618 retracement. For now, it's holding. It was a very important support over here, failing to hold, and 30-30 to the downside. We will get a perfect M scenario. KRE, regional banking ETF, same story. Next support is the 47. Below it we have this open gap at the 44 area. So keep your eyes on this ETF. If I can recommend something, banks will always be here. Banks don't disappear. One bank here, another bank there, but the financial system will always be here. So pay attention for the banks, for any bounce. It will happen. And now you can see trend lines, Fibonacci, price action. US 10-year yield, downtrend. We have all the way the lower highs, lower lows. We have a doji of a trend line, trend reversal signal, and here we are. Now we have this middle trend line. Let's see if it will hold. Not so strong, this trend line. It was support, broke to the downside, resistance. Now it needs to act like a support. Failing to do so, the lower orange trend line will get retested. Dollar index 106, very strong resistance. We have a doji now on the weekly. We need break below the 103, back to the 100s. VIX, another perfect example of why trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. Just look left, follow this trend line. Every time VIX touched this trend line, it bounced. Every time it touched this trend line, got rejected. VIX is the opposite for SPY. If VIX is heading towards this trend line over here, start thinking closing long positions. And VIX going back to this trend line over here and touching this area, start thinking closing short positions. This is not a recommendation to do any kind of trade or investing, just educational purposes. Think about it. Apple on the weekly, 158, super strong resistance. It was support, support, resistance, resistance. 144 needs to hold, otherwise we will go retesting 135 and maybe even this purple trend line that held the lower lows. All depends on Tuesday's CPI numbers. Tesla, after several weeks of doji after doji, indecision in the market, here we have it. Market decide for us. We are going to the downside. 163 needs to hold, otherwise on Tesla we have this gap over here. Look at the daily, always zoom out, zoom in to get a better point of view of price action. 163, if will fail to hold as support, this gap at the 146 will get filled, because we know first, gaps are like magnets to price action, and more than 80% of them will get filled throughout time. Google holding this trend line. Let's see a bounce, or if CPI numbers will be lower than expectations or higher than expectation, depends how you look at it. Bad numbers 83 to the downside will be here once again. AMD, 88 area, tough resistance, dojis all across here, as you can see, inside a doji, 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 doji. Now, 80 needs to hold. Failing to do so, we have all the levels to the downside. Also on AMD, we can see a double top scenario. It will get validated if AMD weekly will close below 76. Then we can assume with high probability 66 will be next. And we can take trend line, connect the higher lows. And there you have it. Another area of support. Shopify, still holding the short-term uptrend channel. This trend line is struggling to hold the price. Bulls giving it all to keep price above this trend line because they know if this trend line will get broken to the downside, 33 will get retested once again. Netflix, barely holding. Let's see if next week we can get a bounce towards this trend line over here. Or once again, CPI numbers Tuesday. Bad numbers will take Netflix to the downside, in my opinion, towards 250. Will be the first support that bulls will have to defend. Otherwise, 225 to the downside. Nvidia, after a very nice bull run, now we have two consecutive dojis of the 242 area. 215 is the support that needs to hold. It was a very strong support over here. Now it needs to hold. Failing to do so, 196 is the next level of support. Microsoft, trend line, failed breakout. Now, as you can see, trend lines are the true support resistance. Also over here, if the 245 will fail to hold the support, just look left. Why the 245? Support over here, resistance, and now support failing to hold. This lower trend line will get retested once again. Amazon, not looking good. Failing to hold the 93 area. 88 and 81 are next in line. Once again, all depends on, you guessed it, Tuesday's CPI numbers. So hold your breath. Sit on hands on Monday. In my opinion, nothing will happen on Monday, but it's only my opinion. Always do your own due diligence. Meta, we can see all this area of the 190, 198 is a very tough resistance. Now, 174 needs to hold the support. Otherwise, look left. Where is the next potential support? Over here. Look at all this since June of 2022 all the way to September 2022. This area held as support. This area is the 158. Below it, we have all the levels to the downside. That's it. It's only technical analysis. Price action, Fibonacci levels, and also trend lines. It's not rocket science. Here you have it. As long as the price of Meta is above this purple trend line, we are in an uptrend. If you want to take your trading journey to the next level, check the links in the description below. We have one-on-one live mentorship program, and we have the Fibonaccis-Traders program, 6 hours pre-recorded, 49 lessons that will transform you to become your own indicator. And then you can stop following others, and everything is with lifetime access to all these core channels and with lifetime access for support. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like, subscribe, share with friends, will be much appreciated. Don't forget, Chart Request Weekend is here. Fibonacci Traders Discord, Chart Request Weekend channel, free. Post your name, stock, ETF, crypto, and I will include it with a proper trading plan for the coming days. Until the next video, stay safe.